Welcome to LFC Transfer HQ, your ultimate source for all things Liverpool FC transfers. Like and subscribe for more football updates. Our first news is Man City told to hijack Liverpool transfer for 25-year-old to address Achilles heel. Manchester City should be going all in for Crystal Palace's Marc Guéhi this summer, as the centre-back area is the Achilles heel in Pep Guardiola's team, Stuart Pearce has exclusively told Sports Mole. The Sky Blues spent big at the start of the summer window with the captures of Ryan Cherki, Ryan Aït-Nouri and Tijani Reinders, while talented teenage midfielder Sverre Nypan has also arrived from Rosenborg. However, the citizens are yet to add reinforcements to the heart of their defense, despite Manuel Akanji, John Stones and Nathan Ake all entering their 30s and struggling with injuries in recent times. While City did bring in Abdulkadir Kuzanov, Vida Reis and Juma Ba, currently on loan at Nice. In January, Pearce believes that there is still a weakness that needs to be addressed, as the current centre-back situation worries him slightly. When they won the Champions League a couple of years ago, I think they won it on being very, very tough to score against, the 63-year-old said. That was their key that season. Everything fell into place. The back four was pretty consistent and played extremely well together. Kyle Walker dealt with any problems. They had that extra bit at the back. That was their strong card that it does worry me a little bit. If I was in their situation, Marc Guéhi would be one I would go after. I'm a big fan of this kid. He's got the ability to deal with things one-on-one on the counter-attack. You've got to be good at that if you're a Manchester City player in the expansive way they play. But if anything's going to be their Achilles heel, it's going to be that back line again. Guéhi has now entered the last 12 months of his contract with FA Cup winners Palace, although it is believed that the Eagles will still hold out for around £40 million to £50 million to let the England international depart in the current window. There have been no credible reports linking Guéhi with Man City so far this summer. Instead, Premier League champions Liverpool appear to be the frontrunners, with Tottenham Hotspur also tagging along behind. The Reds have already lost Jarell Quansah and Nat Phillips this summer, while Ibrahima Konate is also in the final year of his contract and has apparently had his head turned by Real Madrid. Despite their centre-back shortage, Liverpool have pulled off the marquee signings of Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, Milos Kerkez and Jeremy Frimpong, while a record deal for Alexander Isak is looking increasingly likely. Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more LFC Transfer HQ news. Our second news is Alexander Isak convinced by Liverpool offer. Liverpool have conducted a landmark summer transfer campaign, but there are no indications that they are prepared to stop anytime soon. Having on board Florian Wirtz, Hugo Ekitike, Milos Kerkez, Jeremy Frimpong and Georgi Mamardashvili, the Reds have already spent around £260 but Alexander Isak remains a player in their sights. If Liverpool managed to conduct an outgoing deal for Darwin Núñez, then we could see the Swedish frontman at Anfield before long. It would require a British record sum to land the 25-year-old, mere weeks after the Reds broke the record for Wirtz. The prospect of a deal between the Reds and Newcastle ramped up decisively last week. Isak informed his employers he had no wish to sign a new contract and, in fact, would be seeking a move away this summer. The Sweden international is not on tour in Asia with Eddie Howe's side, instead staying behind to work on a slight thigh injury. His situation is expected to be resolved before the summer transfer window closes, with transfer insider Lewis Steele maintaining that a bid is imminent. The latest is, probably from the Newcastle end, is that Newcastle are ready for that first bid to come. They're fearing the first bid, Steele told his YouTube audience. And I think that impact will come at some point this week or next week. It is the last week of July going into August this week. There's not long left of the transfer window, although there is more than enough time to get all this business done. And I do think that Liverpool will make a play at Isak now. I said that a few days ago. A bid of £130 million could be sufficient to bring the Geordies to the table, and then it will be all about presenting a compelling package to their No 14. Do I think he will join? Well, it all depends on Newcastle, really, says Steele. So I do still think it's too early to say, but I do have a sneaky feeling that this one will end up happening, or at least the bid will happen. The only info I have is that Liverpool are preparing a bid, Newcastle are braced for a bid. I don't have any info into whether Newcastle will play ball, and I don't think anyone does at this stage. Isak scored 23 goals in the Premier League last season, emphasizing his credentials as one of the best frontmen in the game. And the prospect of joining the title holders certainly appeals to Isak, with Steele believing that he's got his heart set on a move to Merseyside. But what we can say is Liverpool like him, he says. Alexander Isak is growing in, let's just say he's desperate for the move to Liverpool. He really, really wants it. So it all depends on Newcastle, whether they say, thank you very much, we'll take the money, or whether they continue to be, well, just stubborn really. You can't really blame them for being stubborn. He's their best player. Don't miss subscribe for more LFC Transfer HQ news. Our third news is transfer rumors, news, Juve permanent Kolo Muani move. Juventus are looking at signing Paris Saint-Germain's Randall Kolo Muani, while Al Nassr are looking at Chelsea left-back Marc Cucurella and Manchester United winger Antony. Join us for the latest transfer news, rumors and gossip from around the globe. Juventus are preparing an improved offer for Paris Saint-Germain striker Randall Kolo Muani amid belief that Manchester United could make an approach for him, according to Gazzetta dello Sport. There are reported to be daily discussions ongoing with PSG over a move for the 26-year-old, but the Bayern Canary are now expected to advance the deal to avoid it being hijacked by the Red Devils. Kolo Muani scored 8 goals in 16 Serie A matches last season, before scoring twice at the FIFA Club World Cup. Al Nassr are interested in Chelsea left-back Marc Cucurella, reports Marca. The Saudi Pro League side are expected to make an irresistible offer to the 27-year-old, but the Blues could be reluctant to let him go due to his importance to manager Enzo Maresca. Meanwhile, Cristiano Ronaldo's side are also keen on Manchester United winger Antony, according to UOL. The 25-year-old, recently on the radar of RB Leipzig and Leverkusen, is allowed to leave Old Trafford for £50m. Liverpool are prioritizing a move for Real Madrid winger Rodrigo, according to Team Talk. The Reds reportedly see the 24-year-old as their number one option to replace Luis Diaz as the Colombia international nears a €75 million move to Bayern Munich. But with belief that Los Blancos could demand a significant transfer fee worth close to €90 million, the Anfield hierarchy are also lining up some alternatives. One of those is 20-year-old RB Leipzig and Norway international Antonio Nusa, while Lyons' Malik Fofana, also 20, is another player on their radar. Negotiations are continuing between Marseille and Juventus regarding a move for USMNT and Juve winger Timothy Weah, reports L'Equipe. The 25-year-old is reported to be keen on making the switch to the League One club, who want Juve to lower their demands of around €22 million for the mandatory permanent clause that is included in the loan deal. Weah, capped 44 times by the US, directly contributed to 7 goals in 30 Serie A appearances last season. Liverpool are ready to step up their efforts to sign Newcastle striker Alexander Isak this week, according to the Daily Mail. The Magpies are braced to receive an offer from the Reds, and with the 25-year-old interested in making the switch to Anfield, an approach worth close to £150 million would reportedly be considered. Meanwhile, Fabrizio Romano reports that there are no talks between Isak and clubs in Saudi Arabia despite speculation, as Liverpool prepare a record proposal for him. Stay tuned for more updates on LFC Transfer HQ, transfer moves, player signings, and latest news. Don't miss subscribe for more LFC Transfer HQ news. Our last news is VfB Stuttgart continue to rule out transfer for Bayern Munich target. After clinching a deal for Luis Diaz from Liverpool, Bayern Munich will turn their attention to signing the second attacking player. They have a concrete interest in Nick Woltemade from VfB Stuttgart. The German striker can play in multiple positions in the attack. He can also be a long-term successor of Harry Kane in the number 9 position. After missing out on Florian Wirtz, Bayern want to make Nick Woltemade the big German signing of the summer. They have reportedly agreed on personal terms with the 23-year-old forward. Woltemade is pushing for a move to Bayern. He has reportedly rejected interest from Napoli and Chelsea. However, VfB Stuttgart have no plans to part ways with one of their top players this summer. They have already rejected 2 bids from Bayern, with the second bid being worth €55 million, €50 million plus €5 million in add-ons. The Bavarian club had also included a 10% sell-on clause in the second bid. Stuttgart are showing no signs of relenting after multiple bids were launched by Bayern. Woltemade has reported for pre-season training at Stuttgart. While talking to Sky Sports on Monday, Stuttgart sporting director, Fabian Woltemade, admitted that the club expects Woltemade to stay at the club next season. There's no news. Nick will very likely be part of our squad again this season. We've communicated that clearly and unequivocally. It's our responsibility to focus on what will help us get a good start to the new season. That's why we're only thinking about the relevant topics. A transfer of Nick under the current circumstances is simply not relevant. Fabian Woltemade. Should Bayern Munich make a third bid for Woltemade? Bayern had halted negotiations with Stuttgart since they were not getting any encouragement, even for having talks to resolve the situation. Since Stuttgart are in a good financial position, they are not under pressure to sell Woltemade. Die Roten can firmly focus on Woltemade later this week once Diaz completes his medical on Tuesday. The German champions should be mindful that Woltemade has just one strong season in the Bundesliga under his belt. It doesn't make sense to pay an exorbitant fee for him right now. Since they don't have an enormous budget to spend on transfers, Bayern should certainly take a cautious approach in their pursuit of Woltemade. The second bid was fairly reasonable for the German forward who just had his breakout season in the Bundesliga. Die Roten should play the waiting game and leverage the player's willingness to join to get a good deal with Stuttgart. Even if Bayern don't get the deal for Woltemade over the line this summer, they can come back for him next summer. Several other attacking options in the market tick the boxes for their second attacking signing of this transfer window. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for the latest Liverpool FC transfer.